Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna dance by water with the Mexican. Thanks, Kenneth, to invite us to this platform. Before I introduce myself, I would like to introduce a couple of people with us to show the land banking. First of all, I would like to introduce Ross Laylaw, and he's the COO of Tomacom. So second guest is Vera, and he's the COO of Tomacom. So second guest is Vera. Vera is she's some like mainstream media, financial media, like Financial Review and Finance. Also, we are like KSI Land Banking is the only one, the first one and only one in the market now in Australia. Definition we call the poverty trap city theory, so which I will introduce a little bit later. And when you Google into KSI Land Banking, you will find many articles about us. So around about 11 financial mainstream media reports us, including Self-Managed Fund magazine and Money Management, something like that. So, and we already finished in the land, for retail fund, we already finished land 6, land 7, land 8, and now we are launching land 9. So can I ask who in here already bought land 6, 7, and 8? Who already bought? So, if you don't have a WhatsApp group, but don't worry, we have a, so all finished?
I have, but I don't know how to do it.
No. Or you can take a picture now, later I can explain to you.
Thank you. Use WeChat just because I'm using WeChat. Okay.
Yeah. We have WeChat later.
Okay.
You can take a photo now.
Yeah.
And we have a WeChat.
So if you just open your camera, it should work.
You
don't need the WeChat. You don't need the WeChat scan.
Yeah, open a camera, it will pop out, and then it will remind you, guide you to
WeChat.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's a WhatsApp and WeChat. So which is convenient. We can send all the info pack in the chat, and we can check in the group. So social media is really convenient for us.
Yeah, just scan this one first.
So this is WeChat. The other one is WhatsApp.
It doesn't work on Android.
Doesn't work?
On Android, no.
On the WeChat or the other one?
Do you have
WhatsApp.
That's WhatsApp, right?
The previous one, this one is
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
First one's WhatsApp, second one's WeChat.
So if you just open your camera, it should work.
Yeah.
No.
it will pop up.
Oh, with the new, I think the new update on Android, it works. Just the camera.
But it's okay. You take the pictures and we sort out for you after the presentation.
Đấy, còn một step.
All right. So here I would like to introduce to you. This is the city planning for city future. There is three major cities. Eastern Harbor City, which is located here, where we are here now. So City. So this is around about 3.5 million now. And in the middle, the city we call it is a Central River City. The center is Parramatta. And also the Western Parkland City is the new future city. So we call it Aerotropolis CBD as a core. So now 1.5 million, 3.5 million population. This is under 500,000. So Sydney City wish to have more than 10 million people by 2065, 2056. 10 million people. 3 million people here, 3 million people here, and 3 million people here. And also have a 30 minutes drive living circle, means you can drive within 30 minutes, you can get access to your study, to your medical, to your education, or working, or anything of this. So this is the future plan for Sydney City. And this red land, the red line, one we call passive zoning area. This is very important because in 2006, Sydney government and the federal government established what we would call it a southwest development zone, and they actually put a legislation into this zoning. Now this will be a very important developing economy zone for Sydney and for Australia. So this one's actually all located in the western cities, western Parkland cities. So why we call it a passive zoning area? Because if you buy land within this area in red, and you no need to to push the government, push the council to rezone your land from the rural land into residential. So that's very important because that means the risk is low. Because it's the government actually pushing you to rezone it. Secondly, the cost is low. Because if you buy land, for example, it's outside the red line, and you need to talk to the council probably will say, okay, so if you wish to rezone this into a residential, you need to put some infrastructure in. So that means the risk is low and the cost is low as well. And this one, we have three parts of this area. The upper part, the north part, is actually what we call is usually I call it's called Australian Silicon in future, Silicon Valley in future, because now many high technology company already moving in, like border land or even the government to give them land for a period of time for the lease is for free. So for example, Tesla and Google is the two companies. Government recently give them some land free of rent for how many years to come in this area. So also like Amazon, Costco, even Huawei, many people actually, many big companies already established or bought the land over there. So very important. And in the middle is actually, I'm going to explain, we call Aerotropolis. And the downside this area, this part is actually majority of the land owned by one people and one family. There are 82 mil boss. 90 to 95% of the land was under his name. So that means we relatively cannot touch this land. So the upper land is all secure or bought by the big guys. So in the middle part is which this side. This part is we call Aerotropolis CBD. And this zoning actually is just come out last year, 2018. And there's a couple of colors. So the gray color is actually the new airport, and 17 square kilometers. And this yellow part is what we call is a high-tech agriculture zoning area. And now the Flemington market, senior market is moving here. And also other like high technology, agriculture, processing, food industry, something like that. So the blue one is actually also for high tech like industry, like what I said, all the big high tech technology company. So, and this part is a dark orange color. It's actually for residential. So you can see a bit of residential here, and residential here, and the other side. So the majority of the land we will buy is all located here. And what we call is actually we bought the land from 2013, and we established like a business in 2015. So all the land we bought is actually in this side. So before, this zoning was published last year, 2018. But what we bought before is we haven't know what the government is going to be zoned. So, but it's very lucky, like Andre and all like Edmund. So they found the land which is all located in the residential. That's what we want to be. So it's very. So sometimes I ask, like Andre said, could we put our 10 pieces of land maybe outside the other area, in case to put one egg in the basket, But Andre is very confident and said, this is the place what we need to buy. So like we are not just lucky. So using the knowledge. So Andre used to work for PwC for many years, and he specialized in the land banking and working with a very big company like a public listed company, like Land Lease and Australand, this kind of company. So it's very it's rich experiences. And this is zoning, and the green color is actually flood zone, and actually now zoning for the parkland area. So, and this is a Metropolis City future rail zoning. So now we actually, in this area, we have two railway line. One is what we call is a south-west, north-south like a railway line, and it's actually using the metro, which is the same like now northwest railway line. And also there is another one which extended from the Leppington, called is a west-south extend like railway line. So we can see now the Leppington and coming in a couple of like a railway station will be in this area. So all our land is actually within 5 or 6 kilometers. There were 5 to 6 railway stations nearby us. So which is like you can think about is how density it is, and the people population. Government is going to put more than 200,000 working people over there, 200 people jobs there. So you can see a brand new and very high density city will be built in this area. And you can see clear more for this land 9 is located in the center. And also I'm going to tell the land church board and also the land currently on offer in the market. So this is the land 9 which I will introduce today. And this is the land 6 and land 7. And that green one is the land. This is the land like 8, and this is the church land which they bought last year. And this is the land currently on offer in the market. So we get closer to see. For the land 9 we bought in the market is 180 per square meters. And land 6 and 7 and land 8 we bought around about 160 per square meters. And the church bought this land is on 275 square meters last year. So which is just within 1 kilometer away from our land. And also currently on offer in the market, 320 per square meters. And now, as you can see here, is the Austral area. It's actually a residential area now. And this is still as like a rural area. And like this, you see, there are some houses on offer on the market, and even many people already living there. So on here, if you buy subdivided land, it is around about 1,500 per square meter subdivided land. So you can see the pricing difference. Of course, we buy 180, it's not going to sell 1,500 because it's a subdivided land. But if you were a developer, you are going to buy land here, and you would wish to develop subdivide some land into small pieces and build some townhouses or the houses. And rather you can now, low density, you can buy around about 500 to 600. And if you buy in a medium density, like 4 floors, you need to buy around about 700 to 1,000. So that means like if you buy a land here like us, 180, and which means if tomorrow this area was zoned into residential, that means your land can be sold around about 3 times. That's basically like a logic we were calculating. Okay, the land price point is 2018, Sydney property market down around about 13%. But our land we bought increased 20 to 25% for the market. And the land 9, we bought 180 per square meters. We actually negotiate 1 year before for this pricing. And now the pricing under $200 per square meters in the area is gone, it's disappeared. And what we anticipate, probably within another 2 years, under $300, the land under $300 will disappear again. So we bought the land, $100 disappear, $200 will disappear, and $300 will disappear soon. And this is the chart which coming from New South Wales Valuer General. The green one is Liverpool Council, Liverpool rural land. Then you can see in 2018, in Liverpool rural land, average pricing increase is 20%. And in 2017, increased 46%. And 2016, 60%. And 2015, 23%. So you can see actually from 2015 to 2018, the property market, no matter in Australia, in Melbourne, in Sydney, is down, right? So some places like Melbourne or Brisbane down a lot. But in our area, the pricing still in 20% speed, more than 20% speed increasing. The reason why many people didn't know this information because relatively this information is for the big developers. They have the land banking department. Even the small developers, they may not have this information. So this shows us if we wish to invest some into the property market, there are maybe some ways to get access into this area. So property value increased actually mainly from the land. So because, for example, your house increased, it's not because your houses increase, it's because your land increased. So, for example, who needs to pay the land tax every year? Here. Is anyone? Yeah. So you can see, actually, you are accountant. So if by the end like financial year, you need to ask for a depreciation report like from Washington Brown, and to reduce some tax which you pay for. So the building itself actually is devalued, and the land is increased. That's why your houses increase. And the land and the house is just like flour and bread. You know, the bread pricing fluctuate will affect flowers. So that's why house, the pricing will fluctuate according to economy cycle. But the flower, it just like it can run its own way. So actually, in Sydney, in the past 35 years, which has numbers, we don't have much like a decrease. It's always almost increasing every year. And here I'm going to talk about a little bit like a poverty trap city, we call it PTC theory, like investigated by our team. What is a PTC? What is a poverty trap city? There are 6 conditions. One is population more than 10 million. Secondly is immigration, migrants constantly come into the city. Third, it is an international city. Number 4 is a land, very limited supply. And number 5 is the ratio of house price to income over 15. So who can tell me how much is the ratio now in Sydney? How much? House to your income.
10.
Yeah, very good. So round about 10 because
Did you win anything?
now because we are average like income is 80,000, but we bought a house it's around about 800,000, so it's around about 10. Okay, and it is a financial city. If one city meet these 6 conditions, no matter in which city all around the world, we found that it's a common like a character. It become what we call the poverty trap city, and we call PTC. And you will have 2 characters. Character 1 is in one of the PTC, the house price will lost control totally. No matter what government do, the pricing lost control. Secondly, character 2 is income increase will be lower, always lower than house price increase. And the young people will forever poor in a PTC if he not invest. There's 2 main characters if there is city become a PTC. And we found 2 strategy for buying and selling. Buying strategy is of course we need to accumulate our cash. And to buy, first, if there is a PTC like a city, poverty trap city, I will ask one question for everyone. Is it worth to buy a PTC now? For example, New York or Shenzhen, is it worth to buy now? Why? Why it's not worth buying?
No money.
No one.
Very expensive.
Yeah, very expensive. So one house, like for example, one apartment in Shenzhen, there's like usually less than 2 million Aussie dollar. You can't buy anything, buy very small apartments. So the people doesn't have so much money to buy it, and also because in a PTC city, the price is already very high. The government is doing many things to stop or to cap of the increasing rate of the house increase. So it's not worth to buy. So we need to buy a 2B PTC. That means when the city become a PTC, it's going to be a PTC, we bought it. And we have a sales strategy is not selling. Not selling is our selling strategy because we hold it for long-term holding for a PTC before it become a PTC, and when it become a PTC, the property pricing lost control, and then we can get to our financial freedom and for your family and for your kids. And there are some cities which already be a PTC in the world. So Tokyo, Moscow, Shenzhen, Mumbai, Beijing, New York, Shanghai, London, it's already a PTC. And Sydney is still a 2B PTC. Because we can see, okay, so population over 10 million, so we are 20 now. And if there is a western city like Sydney or London, it no need to be 10 million, might be a little bit less, like London. It's like just slightly less than 8 million. So this is okay. We have so many migrants here, increasing every year, and it's international cities. And Sydney lands very limited supply, which I will show later. The ratio is 10. So just only one factor is not mean meet the criteria. So that means Sydney is a very good one, no matter for the land and the house to buy it now. So you have another theory, talk to your client, which they can buy your house now. So here is the map for Sydney, your graphic, like a character for Melbourne and Sydney. And as you see, Sydney actually has a what we call the Sydney Basin. Here is the Blue Mountain. Here is the Royal Garden, like a park. And also Coolingay Park and the ocean. So Sydney is limited into a very small place. Sydney is a 12,000 square meters area. It seems very large, but I would like to compare to Shenzhen always. For example, Shenzhen has 2,000 per square meters, but Shenzhen, the story level, must be more than 6 times than Sydney. So that means Sydney actually divided into 6. Sydney is less than 2,000 square kilometers, so it's a very limited supply. Melbourne is not, because you can expand majority of your land into very large area because it's a plain. So when in Melbourne, when you drive 30 minutes, and you can see a farmland here, and on the other side of the farmland is houses. So that means I always tell, I'm being presented to many investors in Melbourne and Sydney. So I always say, okay, if you were a Sydney people, I said, you are very lucky because you are in a 2B PTC. No matter where you buy, will be increasing in future, and later you will lose control. But you are also not lucky because you need to buy a house for your kid, because your kid can't afford it to buy a house. Also, I tell Melbourne people that you are very lucky because your kid can afford his house in future. But if you buy too many houses and not select it very carefully in Melbourne, your house price might increase very slow. So we need to know different geographic area in between Sydney and Melbourne. And this, if you invest into the past 35 years into assets, you have 8 times invest in return. If you buy properties in Sydney, average properties you got 12 times. But if you buy Western Sydney land, you got 15 times return. So that means we call this is on the top of the mountain return. So the land investment is very important because of very good performance and high return. And our target is already buy 10 pieces of land here. So our target is to buy 50 to 100 pieces of land in this area. And it will be run about 1 million square meters. It would run about 500 million. And after 7 to 10 years in this area, this 500 million we expect it to become 5 billion. And if we turn into this area, this land 1 million into properties, it will run about 30 billion. So this is a very large number. So that's how you invest into land and how it generates so many fortune. And what is land banking? And there is a land banking investment process. We know, first of all, every land is actually from the rural land into a zone land. First of all, rural land, and when it's zoned into residential or commercial, we call zone land. And then if we apply for development approval, we call land with DA. But actually we buy in the first stage and asset in the third stage. We're not going to subdivide it into land or not building the house, because these two, number 4 and number 5, actually is done by developers. And in Australia, the average of developers profit is 20%, and for builders it's around about 8%. So it's really low. So it's a labor work. So there are so many good developers and builders. We let this job to them. So, for example, here, if you buy a 50,000 square meters land, let's say around about 100 per square meters, is worth 5 million for this land. But when it be zoned into a residential or other zoning area, it will become 25 million. So this is a large jump of land value for all the property development. So if you apply for D8, there will be another 30% increase. So what we focus on is actually to invest in the most profitable stage among the 6 stages. Now many people buy the houses. Yes, it's good because now in Sydney, in all Australia, there was 7% increase for the past history, right? But in Sydney, the market performance is around about 8.3%. So now you can buy the house in this performance rate, or you can try the land banking in our stage. And let's break down the land banking profit. There are actually 3 parts. One part is what we call is from the land natural increase. For the past 35 years, Western Sydney actually recorded is 13% compound increase for the land price, Western Sydney. So the compound increase is very scary, So because it is like a compound increase, if you bought land over there, no matter where, it's actually in 10 years time, actually you already got around about 3.394. So it's a very powerful a return tool. And secondly is the return from the zoning. If the zoning from, no matter, we found it very interesting. We have lots of case study and examples. No matter from rural land to residential land or a low density to high density, no matter in Melbourne or in Sydney, very likely will have 300 times return. So very interesting. So that means if we bought a rural land, when it rezoning into a residential, we got 300 returns. Of course, 30% return after you apply for the D8. So there's 3 parts that return breakdown. If we wish to do the land banking, there are 3 factors, very important. One is the location. If you need to buy a proper land in a proper location. Secondly is price. Third is the timing. So first, let me introduce a little bit of location. Before I tell you about how good is the land of the location, I'm going to show a government video for you to see how government introduced this location. Kenneth, the volume, there is a sound needs to play out. Probably set it up. Here.
An airport for Western Sydney promises to be one of Australia's most exciting infrastructure projects in decades and will ensure Sydney remains Australia's gateway to the world. The number of people travelling by air in the Sydney region is expected to more than double to around 87 million passengers a year over the next 20 years. Sydney's current aviation capacity cannot handle this growing demand alone, and if no action is taken, Australia could forego billions of dollars to the national economy. A Western Sydney airport at Badgerys Creek will meet future aviation demand and provide economic benefits now and for generations to come. With a population of 2 million people, Western Sydney would be Australia's 4th largest city in its own right. A Western Sydney airport will be a catalyst for the region's economic future, as a further 1 million people move to the area by the 2030s. The proposed airport will support this growing population by creating more jobs closer to home and better connecting businesses to national and international markets. Good transport links will be essential for the airport. The Australian and New South Wales governments have committed $3.6 billion to the Western Sydney Infrastructure Plan. This program will provide major road and transport linkages to the airport before it opens in the mid-2020s. The new M12 motorway will be the major access road to the airport site. The Australian and New South Wales governments are now working together so that rail infrastructure is in place at the right time. Preparing the Badgerys Creek site for construction will be a significant task. Approximately 22 million cubic metres of soil would need to be levelled and redistributed across the site, enough to fill almost 9,000 Olympic swimming pools. The Western Sydney Airport Plan sets out the vision for a 21st century airport. On opening, a Western Sydney airport would be able to handle the full range of domestic and international aircraft. Stage 1 of the airport would deliver one runway and initially serve around 5 million passengers a year. That number is expected to grow to 10 million passengers 5 years after opening, similar in size to Adelaide Airport today. In addition to the terminal and runway areas, the airport will also include cargo facilities, dedicated maintenance areas, a public transport hub, easy access parking from the upgraded road network, and areas set aside for business parks. At twice the land size of the existing Sydney airport, a Western Sydney airport will grow with demand. As passenger numbers grow, the terminal and airport facilities will expand, and by 2050, a second runway would need to be built. The airport will provide thousands of jobs and attract a range of industries and businesses to the surrounding area. Unlike Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport, careful planning over the last 3 decades has protected the Badgerys Creek site from encroaching residential development. This means a Western Sydney airport will be capable of operating without a curfew, meeting the needs of the community and business. It also means that Sydney will finally have a curfew-free airport that can maximise economic benefits while taking care to minimise impacts on the community. A new airport presents a rare opportunity to adopt the latest in technology and design so that it can operate efficiently and sustainably. The airport will be required to meet national sustainability rating standards. By adopting these standards, the airport will be able to reduce its environmental impact during construction and operation through energy efficiency, water use and urban planning. The Western Sydney Airport Environmental Impact Statement describes measures to minimise the potential impacts of the airport on the surrounding environment. These measures will include on-site water recycling and surface water treatment, improved air quality by using ground-based power for aircraft sitting at gates, and an environmental conservation zone along Badgerys Creek. A Western Sydney airport will transform the region into a modern, vibrant city with jobs closer to where people live. The Australian Government will continue to work with the community as planning continues for Western Sydney's International Gateway. For more information, please visit westernsydneyairport.gov.au.
There is a website, actually you can go to see how is the progress of building the airport. And these are the 3 cities we were mentioned before: Eastern Harbour City, Central City, and Western City. So this is Airtropolis. So last year in 2018, the government said this is what we call Airtropolis. And here is the airport. This is Airtropolis Core. In this course, actually, government is going to plan to build more than around about 40 floors in this area. So it's very important. So now we can more than 40 floors, 50 floors we have in the city. We have in like Parramatta, and which will be happening here. So this is another, these two areas will be zoning next year and probably will be start to build from the year after. And this is the Rosemont area, which we focus on residential. And this is the industry zone. And this is the agriculture zone. And this is the parkland zone. And this is very important. For the Electropolis core, 25% will be built into this. This one is actually not just planning. It's already confirmed from the government. And this including Australian Space Agency. Australian government is going to go into the satellite industry. So Australian Space Agency, Institute of Aerospace Research, and also the new university over there, and also is Northrop Grumman companies over there. Northrop company is the largest radar manufacturer in the world. It's the third one of a military equipment manufacturer. It's coming from America. So in this core area, you can see the government actually wish to have the government, research institution, university, and a company all working together to make some to work all together to make some high technology in the space technology. So this is very important, and actually it's happening. And what we call just 25% now is here. It's here. So that means our land line and this area is very close. So if we bought, you got the land over there or you got a house over there, within 1 or 2 kilometers, actually you can see 40 floors over there. The people there is Australian Space Agency or the university. So this kind of like a future plan. And this we look closer. And for the land line is around about 20,000 square meters, and on the frontage is around about 100, and the width is the depth is around about 200 meters. And now it's a primary product, it's agricultural land now, but future is will be zoned into the urban residential. So we bought in 180 per square meter, 3.6 million for this land. And this is outside. And we have next Tuesday, 15th of October, we will have a bus tour here. We will show you the land we bought already. We will show you the train station nearby, and we'll show you how the pricing is over there. We'll tell you how to calculate your pricing, about the land, about the price, and if you buy the house over there, how much might be increased in future. It's a very educational trip and also a good land tour. So many people in the bus, we offer a bus, free bus, you come with us to see the land. And here is some other videos for our land.
I want a big spot underneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas, watch the blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
Okay, so the Metropolis CBD feature 40 floors, planning areas here. So it's very close to our land 9. So the land what we bought among all the piece of land we bought, this is the most closest one to the Metropolis CBD. So which is like we might know the potential price increase in this area. Actually, one developer coming with me, Ross, one developer coming with me, and when he see this land, he said, can I one person to buy all of it? I said, sorry, you can't, too late. Already issued the retail fund, some people already transfer money in, so you can't buy it. You can still put money in now, but you can't say, okay, I don't want other people. So all the other people put it in. So price in this area, now, okay, this is. Now, the rural land is 180 we bought now. There is the pricing which in the Austral, you can check it from the RP data. So the DA land in the low density, now the pricing is around about 500. And in Austria, the other one is in the medium density is 700. So which you can see the pricing selling now just neighbor 1 kilometers away from us. So that means because the pricing gap is large, so our risk will be low if we buy this pricing. Many people say if we buy this price, will it drop into 150 south? I said very rarely will happen because the 1 kilometer away, the pricing is selling on this point. If we were rezoning into other like residential, is likely to be the same price now, So 180 for us, and estimate future pricing. So we have two calculations because because we are retail fund, the pricing we estimate in future asset watch it very carefully. So now actually this pricing is like approval by ASIC, Actually, we supply many material. 13% is actually the average past 35 years for the whole Western scene. So we are using this as an example. If we hold the land for 10 years time, the pricing will increase from 180, natural increase into 600, still have run about three times increase. But we also have a median level is now to 180. We're using 23% per year increase in the compound. And this is now, for example, at the beginning, I told the pricing changes. It's very, very close what we are 23 now. And the 23 is compared to there's a northwest area, like Calibre area. That one, in the past 5 years, average past 5 years because of rezoning affect the pricing increase or land increase. So it's 23% instead of 13%. So it's 23%. If our land can increase 23% in 10 years time, it will increase into 1,800, 10 times. That's how the pricing coming out. And this actually also asks our many our data. So we have different show it to them, and later also he said approval for our saying. So, but at least 13% can be achievable. So conclusion is if we have a 13%, the land price will increase 340%, and if 23%, it will increase 10 times. So this is the budget which we are using for the land 9. I can explain later, and I'm not going to say it in detail here. And roundabout our return is if you invest into 10,000, and you might get roundabout 5 times return, 50,000 return. You invest 100,000, you can go $500,000 back. So we call principal return rate. So, and we have business usual return is 3 times, and normal return is 5 times. It's relatively, we calculate this one, but don't forget, we calculate this one is according to the median, like a low density. But if we are rezoning to median and high density, the return might be higher. And one good thing is because we are retail fund, so you can use your super, establish a self-managed super fund and then invest into our land. This will be explained later by Ross. And a little bit about the knowledge. Now, if you're using the self-managed super fund, you can have tax benefit. If before 60 years of age, you have 10%, runabout like a value-added tax. If more than 60 years of age, you can probably get tax-free. And have 2 to 4 members. Setup fee is 880. This just Vera do this pricing very good for all of us because Vera is established many families, especially for Chinese communities. So she gave us a very good pricing. So for the setup fee and also the hold-on fees for 1,000 per year. And you can roll over your super into self-managed super fund. Before tax, you can roll over. You can put in 25K, and after tax, you can put 100K. And self-managed fund can pass to next generation as well. So this is a Vera. You can take some photos, and you can talk to Vera after our presentation. And also for Melbourne, this is Michael. Where's Michael? So Michael is our a customer manager. So if you wish to, when you open an account or have any other inquiry, you can talk to Michael. The timing is now, because we're not going to talk about 2016, the airport will be open, all this one, and I just show you some other pictures now. So this is the picture we took now. You can see here it's a Bridgewater Road and Old Northern Road is widening, and many like a road was being built into a very good shape now. So every week, like Edmund will drive to there to source the land. So even Eddie will probably find it lost. Sometimes the new roads coming in, sometimes the traffic lights coming in. So it's very rare in Australia in this such a large area will be being built in this stage. So the best way is to come with us to see the land and see how it builds next week. So this is actually the terminal. The earth movement already started. So you can already see many movement here. So around about 2,000 workers working in this area every day. 2,000 workers just for the infrastructure. So majority of them for our land lease. So you can see actually it's moving now. It's not just in planning. This airport called Nancy Bird Airport, International Airport, and this actually is a site. I'm coming in. So you can see lots of dust was moving now. And this is the visitor new airport visiting center was opened on a month ago, 5th of September, just opened. So I suggest you have time, you go over to check it out. It was open Monday to Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday closed. So make sure you go on Monday to Thursday. And I visited this center just after a couple of days. So this lady was like a state government lady, explaining something to us.
You need to know, first of all, some people don't believe in heaven, because they've been full for a long time.
You know what's probably a better spot for these? Come on through, so that...
It's a living body. It is when and also they are worried about how long will it take for the first flight to fly.
Yes, so we have started the name of the airport is International Fancy Road. So if you just crash on the
is definitely international and big area.
So we've got planes across the UK. It's somewhat hard to imagine what it would look like out of these windows, but as we head over towards the left-hand side, we've got the points there, the business park, the terminal railway and the passenger terminal. As you head over to your right.
This is quite interesting. The government make like AR, like using an iPad, and when you point into the real scene, and you can see the terminal is over here and the runway is over there. It's very quite interesting. So this is the Sydney Future Rail, and you see here is the airport, and this is the Metropolis Core. So this will be, now you see the train, the metro, northwest already open, and from the St. Mary and down to Canberra to Macarthur, so will be built when the airport open in 2026. And also this really south-west extended line will be connected to the airport. So, and this one, from the new airport to Parramatta, is a metro one, and Parramatta to Sydney, 30 minutes. It also is planning, already being planned, and will be built in future. So we invest something other people can't see. So that's very important. Many people, I talk to them, if you wish to invest into one property, you come here, you see many big buildings, very busy. I'm sorry you come too late. You come here, you see sheep and cows still on the farm. Congratulations, you come on the right time. So this is very important, we invest into future. Risk. Anything has risk. So the analysis did risk or the land. And this, I'm not going to talk about this, and Ross will be talk about the legal structure, but I'm going to tell you something like a retail fund internal management. So because as we put it in land into the market, and there is a value and market price gap must be within 10% before we put it into the public campaign, usually. So in the land 9, the gap is 0. We bought land 180, the value of the land is 180 on the market price. So usually you buy a house, the market price and the value price will have a gap. The market price is always a little bit higher. Maybe, let's say if the market price is 100, maybe your value price is 70 or 75 or 65, something like that, you know. But now it's the same. So that means we bought a very good price, very reasonable price according to the market. So location is not bad, pricing looks good, and legal structure, Ross is going to explain to us shortly. And the timing is the most what we concern about is a risk, is the timing. Usually, you know, the government sometimes, because many factors, the efficiency might be a little bit low. So till 2026, the airport was planned to be open in that year. It might be delayed 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It might be, but it wouldn't delay 10 years because, when I talked to the Brittany, in the lady called Brittany, I asked how much is the capacity of Kingsmead airport. He said 60 million people per year. I said how much now? He said 60 now. Now the Kingsmead airport already full capacity. There's no space to increase anymore. So that means if we are not building a new airport in 10 years time, in 6 years time, 7 years time, will be a disaster and actually will slow down the Sydney or even Australia economy developing. So the new airport target to 26
October 2026.
2026. I believe it probably will 2026 or probably 1 or 2 years later delay, but not 10 years time. So. And welcome to share this opportunity and be our agent. If you are agent, you can talk to us, and you can talk to Kenneth and to how to share this opportunity to others. And this is the platform Domocom, which Ross will explain to us in shortly. And a very, very good platform. When you invest, you just go on the internet and you can get everything, just like open a bank account. Everything is paperless. And this is my two cats, Burmese cat. So we're doing things when I do homework or working, I'm very focused on one thing. So one day when I took the pictures of my two cats, I found an 8 number here. So that times when I'm promoting them 8. So I'm very focused. Our team is very focused. So I strongly believe we can work together to bring better returns for all our investors. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. And the second time, I would like Ross after explain a little bit legal structure, and then I will invite Andre Colo, Edmund, and Ross. We all together answer the questions. So the time for Ross.
Good. Thank you very much, Robin.
This down one is like
Is the movement of forward.
Thanks.
Thank you. Ross Laidlaw is my name. I'm the director and COO of Domocom. I'll just really try and go briefly to the legal structure, because I realise you've been taking in a lot of information. Importantly, Robin needs us, and we need Robin and Andre and Edmund. And why I say that is that Domocom represents the structure. We're in a way the boring piece. Robin's the exciting piece, talking about the land and why they chose the land. We're the other part, which is the legal structure, all of the making sure we're conforming to the regulations, the Australian market, and that's all important from your perspective, because that protects you as an investor in the fund, so that you can sleep well at night knowing that your money is safe and is being invested into this land, and someone's not going away and running off with your savings. So that's the importance. Domocom's been around for, we're the first crowdfunder in Australia. We started in 2013. We spent 1 year preparing and getting the legal structure right, because it's a regulated legal structure which needs to meet the demands of the Australian Securities Investment Commission. So we have been around for a number of years. So let me just, that's just the general advice warning. I'm not here giving you any personal advice. I just want to tell you about how the Domocom Fund works, a little bit about our role, and the things that we've needed to do. So let's first really just focus in on the structure. I know that looks quite a complex diagram, but the area in red is one managed investment scheme. It is, if you like, a trust. In common language, you would call that a trust, and therefore, under Australian regulatory law, you need to have a trustee, and you also need to have a custodian. So that means that when you invest, the important thing here is when you're going to invest in that land banking number 9 that Robin spoke about, you're actually going to invest into the trust, and you receive units that are directly related to that land. Right? So you're holding units. So if you're holding 10% of the units of that, what we refer to as a sub-fund, you get 10% of the returns of that sub-fund. But why I'm saying that is because the actual land is held in the name of the custodian. So the trustee is Melbourne Securities Corporation, and the trustee is Melbourne Securities Corporation. The custodian is Perpetual Trustees, and Perpetual Trustees have been around for over 180 odd years. Some of you have probably heard of Perpetual Trustees. They're a listed entity and have had a long background and a very well-known and well-performing organisation. So the asset, the actual land, is going to be held in the name of Perpetual Trustees, and they're holding the land on your behalf. Because land banking number 8, we had 87 investors. You can't have 87 investors on the title. I mean, we might see that in blockchain in years to come, but at the moment you have, the title is the name of Perpetual, but because of this legal structure, Perpetual are there just holding the asset on behalf of the investors. They have the legal name, but they don't actually have the financial. All of the financial benefits go back to the investors. So the way, and as Robin was showing on some of his slides, this is a total online solution. So if you're interested in investing, as Robin showed, there was a campaign, you complete an online application form, and it is relatively straightforward to complete the online, it requires your details, and again, as Robin said, you can invest in your name as individuals, you can invest in the name of the self-managed, you've got a self-managed superannuation fund, or if you've got a corporation, or you wanted to invest it in joint names. So we take all styles of investments to actually receive units and to therefore have a beneficial interest in that land. The money, when you invest, the money is then held in the name of Perpetual Trust. And that money, let's say this land is going to cost about 4.6, what is it, Edmund? I think for the actual land's 4.9.
3.6.
Yeah. So that money, when that money goes in there, and then we effectively buy the land. I say Domicom manages to do that, but it is again held in the name of Perpetual. We have already worked with Robin to acquire already, as he was explaining, land banking number 6, 7 and 8, and this is land banking number 9. So we've already done this 3 times. So we know we work very well together. The other things in terms of the legal structure, as I said, this is a regulated scheme, so there is a product disclosure statement, a PDS as we call it. Now you can download that. That talks about the fund generally, about the managed investment scheme. That's available on our website. But each individual sub-fund or individual asset has its own specific document, and that is the SPDS, again the legal jargon, that's called the Supplementary Product Disclosure Statement. So what will happen, you'll put your money into the Domicom fund and it'll sit in this cash pool, right? And when we've raised the sufficient money to buy the land, we will prepare an SPDS, and that will be emailed out to you. So again, it's an all online, and you have the ability, you can read through that, you can talk to your friends or clients or advisor about that, and you either accept or reject that SPDS. And if you accept it, that allows your money to go from the cash pool into this, again, as I refer to the sub-fund, which therefore puts the cash into that vehicle to allow us to buy the land. And again, we have to undertake due diligence, we call it. Again, we're required to do that because it's a trust. So some of the due diligence we need to do, yes, the guys here have looked to buy that land at a particular price, but we get an independent valuation of that. And as Robin was saying, that valuation came in exactly at the price that you're buying, which often we allow a margin of 10%, as Robin was explaining. So we go and get an independent, it's not Domicom, it's an independent valuer who's valuing that land, and they often value things conservatively just because of their nature, and they have professional indemnity cover and they don't want to be sued. So we do that. We also have a review of the property, making sure that the property is fit for being able to be rented out. So we get a building inspection. And then we have a legal review of the contract, making sure that there's no caveats or other things that are on the title which could in any way cause an issue for us, for the investors. So we perform our due diligence that information goes into the SPDS. And therefore you're informed about that. So I think just, sort of jumped into the structure and just really to make that clear. But Domacom, our vision, we fractionalise assets, and that what that really means is, and it's very much what Robin has been talking about, is that we're allowing retail investors from the littlest of effectively $1,000 to up to whether they want to invest $100,000 to actually get access to an institutional type asset. An asset, we couldn't individually go and buy those pieces of agricultural land. But because of the platform and the ability to take the asset, onboard the asset and fractionalise that into fractional pieces, we're actually making that available to many retail investors. So that's what our vision is, to allow assets that wouldn't normally be available to the retail market and to make them available so you can get a fractional interest or a part interest in those. Other than land banking, we've done wind farms, we've done other commercial properties, we do other assets as well. And it's all about giving access to the retail investor. And the beauty of this is that you get transparency because you're investing just in that asset. Because we do know there's property trusts out there in the marketplace and they hold industrial assets, commercial assets, but you don't actually get, you're effectively buying a blended return because you're getting, in those property trusts, you're typically getting a mixture of those assets. You're not getting, I actually want a piece of the land banking asset. I want to get the performance of that. So this gives you transparency just to be able to invest into that asset. Again, just a little bit about Domacom. So Domacom, where Domacom Limited is the group, and we're the manager of the Domacom fund. So, there's a trustee, there's a custodian, we're the manager. So effectively, we manage the technology platform, we manage the legal structure, we put the documentation together, but we have, the trustee and the custodian keeping us honest, making sure that we're doing the right thing, because if we don't, we'll end up in front of the regulator, for instance. We hold an AFSL, Australian Financial Services licence. I've talked about a number of those things that we do. And Domacom is also a listed company. So we've been listed for the last couple of years on the stock exchange, which again which is, you've got to make sure you're complying with all of the stock exchange listing rules. So we're very regulated in everything we do. Okay, so I think that's probably enough from me, and maybe, as Robin said, I'll hand back to you, Robin.
Welcome to Western Sydney. Western Sydney is one of Australia's fastest growing regions, just 50 kilometres from Sydney's central business district. At the heart of this thriving region will be the new Western Sydney Airport. With twice the capacity of Sydney Airport and 24-hour operations, business opportunities with Asia, the Middle East, Europe and the Americas will be more accessible than ever. One of the most culturally diverse regions in Australia, Western Sydney has a population of 2 million people, which will grow to over 3 million in the next 20 years as its economy soars. That's why the Australian and New South Wales governments are working with the private sector to create a purpose-built aerotropolis, a true 21st century city. This world-class international passenger and freight hub will change the way global investment decisions are made, and with access to a skilled workforce, state-of-the-art education and training facilities will attract and retain the best talent. Supported by a fully integrated road and rail network. With $20 billion of government investment already committed to infrastructure in the region, you are invited to help us shape the aerotropolis of the future. We've done the planning. We've committed the resources. Now, the stage is set for you to help us bring Australia's newest city to life. Envisage the future. Starting now.
I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas watching the blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? Margaritas watching the blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me? I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by swinging blue lights. Listen to the mariachi play at midnight. Are you with me? Are you with me?
我们现在来到了莱平顿火车站 （Leppington Station）。那大家可以看到，这里一共是4个站台的火车站，它将来是一个大站。我们喜欢把它叫做悉尼未来的 Chatswood 啊。那么，我指的这个方向呢，这里未来会建一个8万平方米的这个 Westfield 的一个 shopping mall， 就8万平方米的一个购物中心，所以这个地区是整一个悉尼开发区最重要的一个商业中心区之一。
I wanna dance by water beneath the Mexican sky. Drink some margaritas by
就是悉尼的第3个大的 CBD 呢，就是刚才我们说的这个地方，就 Metropolis Core， 我们也叫 Metropolis 空港城 CBD， 就是在这个地方。那么这个是现在威尔士州规划局的这个资料啊，那就在这了，在这。那么我们9号地其实就在这儿啊，就是等于在40层楼的旁边啊。那这个是什么呢？这个呢就是Metropolis Core， 就是 CBD， 其中有1/4马上会今年年底规划完，明年年初就动工啊。那么包括 Australian Space Agency， 就是澳大利亚航天局是在这里，在澳大利亚航空航天研究所、澳大利亚航空航天科技大学建成以后是澳大利亚最大的科技大学，然后还有一个美国杜鲁门公司。美国杜鲁门公司呢是全世界第3大军工制造商和第1大雷达制造商，所以等于是这1/4啊，这是 a quarter of the Metropolis Core will be included Australian Space Agency, Institute of Aerospace Studies, and University, just all of these things. 这呢就1/4，哎，您说，对，现在前面的在一根后面的公路的地啊，有没有在那个西里中心啊？也是在那附近啊，没有这个这么近，这个是最近的，因为这个9号地是离这个等于是空港城中心就1公里以内啊，这个意思，所以它是最近的啊。好，那就是等于是这个是我们刚才说的那个空港城中心，就是说我们的 CBD 的1/4，这个不是未来，而是现在已经签好，就是说已经准备开始建设了，26年就开通，就等于是我们的9号地等于是未来也是一个学区房的这个意思啊。那你看我们就在这啊，这是空港城中心，你看我们这还不到1公里啊，因为这个旁边呢是一个就是公园啊，就等于是不到1公里就到公园，公园这就40多层楼，还有所有的中心，所以这是一个9号地的位置啊，Rachel。
我想问一下，因为我刚才已经买了，现在来讲买了10块。
对。
然后10块地都是有这个公募的方式的。
1到5号是私募，6、7、8、9是公募，10号又是私募啊。
那么这个1到10，它都是在不同的位置，还是说它变成可以连成一线？都是在。
也我们尝试现在慢慢把它连成一片，是还是分开的啊。稍微晚点我们来讲啊，会看到我们其他的地的位置啊。这第一句话呢，就是20万变成一套免税新的房子啊。那么9号地呢是2万平方米，在这个附近呢基本上都是2万平方米，就5个英亩 5 acres 啊 ，2 hectares， 就是一个 average 的。然后我们这个9号地在这里啊，9号地在这里，6、7号地在这里，8号地在这啊。那么我们6、7号地和8号地呢，这都已经上市了，160多买的。那么9号地我们其实也挺好，在1年多以前买的180，但现在你看最近one church called Anglican Church just bought a piece of land, it's 275 per square meter， 啊，就是一个澳大利亚最大的那个叫做他们叫圣公会嘛，买了大概275。那现在这里的还有旁边是说300啊，这其实现在目前的价格大概是200到250之间啊，目前的市价。那么所以等于是，其实我们9号地也涨了。这些地涨，现在目前就是说，我们其他的地啊，就是1到1号、5号地也分布在这，但是没有它那么近，啊，没它那么近。但我们买的早，啊，1号地我们60几块钱买的，13年啊，现翻4倍。我们尝试现在慢慢把它连成一片。是还是分开的啊，稍微晚点我们来讲啊，会看到我们其他的地的位置啊。这第一句话呢，就是20万变成一套免税新的房子啊。那么9号地呢是2万平方米，在这个附近呢基本上都是2万平方米，就5个英亩 5 acres 啊 ，2 hectares， 就是一个 average 的。然后我们这个9号地在这里啊，9号地在这里，6、7号地在这里，8号地在这。啊，那么我们6、7号地和8号地呢，这都已经上市了，160多买的。那么9号地我们其实也挺好，在1年多以前买的180，但现在你看最近one church called Anglican Church just bought a piece of land, it's 275 per square meter， 啊，就是一个澳大利亚最大的那个叫做他们叫圣公会嘛，买了大概275。那现在这里的还有旁边